Hey everybody, welcome back to the 80s Slashers YouTube channel. In this video, we will finally be concluding my rankings of the top 80 slashers of the 80s. And we will, of course, be wrapping this little series up by looking at and discussing numbers 10 through number 1. Now, looking back on these list of rankings that I've done from number 80 through 11, I've been pretty satisfied with where I have ranked everything. If I feel like if I did this ranking again, say next year, I'm sure there'd be some movement within, overall these rankings, based on rewatches or just, tastes change and move over time. Um, but I feel like I'm pretty content with these rankings, for the time being. Now, uh, looking at my top 10. These 10 films were a lot harder to rank than the previous ones, because all 10 of these films, I absolutely love, and I just have them ranked so closely. It really is like splitting hairs where they should slot in. Especially from like numbers 10 through, or I'm sorry, from 10 through 4. I I feel really good about my top 3 or 4, as they haven't really changed that much over the years. There's always been the core few that have just always been my favorite. But the other films, like number 8 could easily be ranked number 5, number 6 could easily be number 10. They're just all that close, and I just kind of threw them in order of what struck me in that the mood as I made the final ranking. Some of these were higher, some of them they're so close. It's honestly it's the mood I'm in, um presently with these, because they're all so close to me. um so yeah, honestly, like these 10 films, they're like I said, they're ranked as they are right for now. Next month, next year, they'll probably be very different. Like every time I watch one of these top 10 films, I move it either up or down in the rankings. I usually move it up because I have such a good time with it. I'm like, oh, I had that at number 7. I'm gonna bump it up to number 6 because I think I like it a little more than the number 6 spot. It's just one of those things. It's just constantly changing and evolving. Um, yeah, so I just wanted to get that out there. Just like no one get upset that number 9 is below the number 7th film, because next week they could easily swap. It's just one of these things. So, all right, let's get right into this. But before we do, I thought I would just do a quick little recap of the rest of the films, in this ranking, just to know where we're at, so we can move forward and to wrap it up nicely. So yeah, let's start this off. I'm gonna try to go through these as quickly as I can. So yeah, let's take a look. So number 80 through 71, we had Nail Gun Massacre, Nightmare on Elm Street 2, Freddy's Revenge, Christmas Evil, Berserker, Madman, Death Spa, Rush Week, He Knows You're Alone, The Final Terror, and Schizoid. Numbers 70 through 61, Don't Go in the Woods, Splatter University, Blood Harvest, Rocktober Blood, Cheerleader Camp, Girls Night Out, Silent Madness, Friday the 13th, Part 7, The New Blood, Hell Night, and Alone in the Dark. Number 60 through 51, we had The Majorettes, and then we had Evil Laugh, Killer Party, Edge of the Axe, Butcher Baker, Nightmare Maker, Child's Play, Halloween 4, Bloody Birthday, Madhouse, and April Fool's Day. Coming in from 50 to 41, we had Night School, Eyes of a Stranger, New Year's Evil, Hide and Go Shriek, The Initiation, Don't Open Till Christmas, Curtains, The Dorm That Dripped Blood, Fatal Games, and A Nightmare on Elm Street 3, Dream Warriors. Coming in at number 40 through 31, we had A Nightmare and a Damaged Brain, The Mutilator, Killer Workout, The Funhouse, Hello Mary Lou, Prom Night 2, Blood Rage, Nightmares, Slaughter High, Friday the 13th, Part 8, Jason Takes Manhattan, and Chopping Mall. Coming in at 30 through 21, we had Nightmare Beach, A Nightmare on Elm Street, Just Before Dawn, Bloody Moon, Terror Train, Sleepaway Camp 3, Sleepaway Camp 2, Final Exam, Graduation Day, and Stage Fright. And then the last video we did, 20 through 11, we have Prom Night, Happy Birthday to Me, The House on Sorority Row, Friday the 13th, Part 6, Jason Lives, The New York Ripper, Halloween 2, Silent Night, Deadly Night, Maniac, Friday the 13th, Part 5, A New Beginning, and Pieces. So yeah, that's where we're at. That was my top 80 through 11. And yeah, so now that that's done, let's just kick this off, and let's start off by looking at number 10. Alright, so coming in at number 10 from 1989, we have Intruder. Now, this is definitely an oddity within this top 10, just because of the year, like 1989. Everything else on this top 10 list is nowhere near 89. They're all from 1980 through 84. So there's no mid 80s slashers, there's no late 80s slashers. Intruder stands out by far. But I love this film. It's one I didn't grow up with, and it's a newer, more recent watch in the past, I don't know, 5, 10 years, whatever. And basically, it made the top 10 for two main reasons. That's the setting and the kills. Both I feel are among the best within the entire 80s slasher subgenre. The setting in this film is in like a 80s grocery store, and it's awesome. It's so well. First off, it's a great like place to set a slasher film, because there's so many different areas of the story you can use, and they did. But it's also so nostalgic, because you get to see all these like product placements of, like, logos of cereal boxes and chocolate bars and pop or soda pop, whatever you want to call it. Just from, bygone era. You don't see that anymore, and it's just entertaining. I just love it. And like I said, they utilize the setting really well. Like, you get to see some like exterior shots, like shopping carts and stuff like that in the parking lot. Then you get to see like the cash register area. Then like the aisles, like the grocery store aisles. Like there's like chase scenes up and down like the grocery or the cereal box aisle. Then there's like the butcher shop with all the butcher tools and whatnot, and then like the warehouse with like the box compactors and all like the heavy machinery, elevators. Then there's like office building, like the upstairs manager's office, which is used really well with one of the kill scenes. It's a great location to set a slasher film in, especially when they're locked in, they can't get out. It's fantastic. And then the kills are just they're incredible. These kills are some of the best in the entire genre. Um, they're just so creative, and you can tell they spent a lot of time making sure that the kills were, the main event in this film, and they're really good. Like I said, I mentioned like the box compactor. There's a kill in the box compactor, like it's a hydraulic press, whatever you want to call it. It's just so good. Um, there's like some with like a meat hook in the butcher shop. Like I said, there's an office kill that's like a little hook. I don't know what it's called. Like, you put like envelopes and stuff on it, and just the lighting on that kill, there's like shadows, and it's so good. And then of course the highlight kill is a bandsaw. it's unbelievable. The camera just captures everything. It's really good. So yeah, Intruder's just fun, man. I just something about this, just like the setting, uh, the type of kills. There's fun humor in it. The story's okay. It's a little predictable, um, but it just has a great late '80s vibe, and it's just fun. I just love Intruder. So yeah, coming at number 10 from 1989, Intruder. All right, let's move on to number 9. All right, so coming at number 9 from 1981, we have The Burning. Now this is just a straight up classic summer camp slasher, which, it's the setting that's been used the most probably in all these slasher type films because it's great. And this is like one of the most classic you can get. Um, the Burning has everything that you want in one of these films. Like I said, it has that setting, which is just custom made for a slasher film, in my opinion. Has great kills, um, really good practical effects. It has plenty of nudity, so it checks off that box. The plot is good. I like the backstory and like the revenge aspect. It's really good. It all makes sense. It works. The story works fine. Killer Cropsy, he's pretty good. He has a really good weapon, like the garden shears, which is really kind of unique and fun. The rest of the cast is like really good acting. Jason Alexander, Holly Hunter, um, it's like was it Fisher Stevens? It's a really good cast. Like good acting is solid, memorable characters, lots of characters you love to hate, characters you're rooting for. It's really good. And then, like I said, Tom Savini. This is Tom Savini's first appearance on this top 10 list. We're gonna see him a few times, and yeah, his kill effects are just fantastic. The Burning just has that, like I said, the classic feel. It just it just looks and feels like one of these films should. It's just when I think of classic examples of 80s slashers, this one always pops in my head. I don't know if it's the camp setting or what it is. It's just classic. Um, these summer camp settings, they just feel perfect to me. It might be the perfect setting to set one of these films in. It's just, there's kids present, so there's that aspect of it. There's like no escape because you're usually one side you're surrounded by woods, the other side you're surrounded by a lake. So you're trapped, there's nowhere to run, there's nowhere to hide. The killer is probably gonna get you. It's just yeah, I don't know. The Burning's just one of the all-time greats. It's fantastic. So yeah, so kind of number 9, The Burning. All right, let's move on and take a look at number 8. All right, so coming at number 8 from 1982, we have Friday the 13th, Part 3. So, yeah, this is the first Friday the 13th entry in this top 10. Be prepared, there are more coming. I am a self professed Friday fan, so it is what it is, folks. But yeah, but even even within like the Friday the 13th franchise, these early films are difficult to rank just because I just like them all so much. But part three has a ton going for it that I just love. First and foremost, this is the debut of masked Jason. Jason Voorhees finally gets his mask, of course, and that's kind of cool. It's kind of iconic. I like watching it and just kind of see the transition because, as it happened in '82, nobody really knew the importance of it. But looking back at it now, it's a big deal. It's a big moment. I don't know. I really like that transition when we see him going from unmasked to masked Jason the hockey mask. It's pretty cool. And Richard Brooker playing Jason is in my top two Jasons of all time, actors to play Jason. He's just the look of him, the way he moved, his aggressiveness. He's fantastic. Absolutely great Jason in this film. The setting is good. You kind of move away from the summer camp, but you're still in that area. You're on like a resort. I would say Higgins Haven, I believe it's called. And you're on the lake. It's still that setting. You're in the woods. You're surrounded by woods in the water. So it's still a fantastic setting. The kills are really good. They're leaning towards the obviously the 3D, which I like. I've watched this in HD with the Anaglyph 3D glasses, and I think it looks great. I think it's fun, and I appreciate the 3D kills. So that's not a knock for me at all. I know some people don't like that, but I dig the 3D. I love that it's there. Of course, it has like the nudity box checked off. The cast is really good in this one. Like the characters are really great. You got Shelley, of course, who ended up given is responsible for Mask Jason. He's such a great character, so memorable. Chuck and Chili, like the stoners, they're really funny. The biker gang is hilarious. Um, and the final girl, Chris, people crap on her, I think, a little bit 'cause she's not the strongest actor, which is true. But I'll tell you this, I think, without a doubt, she put up the best fight. Like her, final confrontation with Jason at the end is awesome. Like she fights back so hard. She's stabbing him in the hand, stabbing him in the knee, throwing stuff at him. She puts up like she basically beats him. Like she puts up such a good fight, and it's really good because like it's violent. Like you see her like I said, stabbing him in the leg, and he's like groaning and limping. Uh, it's one of the best fights in the whole franchise at the end. So yeah, very memorable cast and characters in my opinion. The only knocks that I have against this film, um, in comparison to the other early 80s Friday the 13th films, is kind of the weird back. There's like a little subplot of Chris and her, how they met before, and it's implied that Jason's like kind of rapey maybe with her, which is kind of weird. I don't like that. I don't like introducing. It was never brought up again. I don't know. It was kind of unnecessary, so I don't like that. And the ending with like the whole Mrs. Voorhees things in the lake is weird and it's kind of also unnecessary. So those two things is probably why I have it. It's the first one in this top 10. But other than that, I think it's perfect. So I love Part 3. It's fantastic. So yeah, coming at number 8, Friday the 13th Part 3. All right, let's move on and take a look at number 7. All right, so coming at number 7 from 1983, we have Sleepaway Camp. Now, of all of the summer camp slasher films, The Burning, and the few Friday the 13th films, I think Sleepaway Camp captures the look and feel the best of what a summer camp in the 80s was like. It really immerses you within that setting, and it takes me back because I did that as a kid in the 80s. I was a kid. I went to summer camp in the 80s, and this gave me so many similar experiences watching this. They just did such a good job, and it just really takes me back to those days. So I just love it. They just really capture because there's a focus on the kids and the campers and the younger counselors. Some of the other films, it's more about the older counselors, and you don't really get into the kids that much. This one kind of gets shows everything. Like I said, it's really immersive of the whole camp experience, which is fantastic. So yeah, I love that for this. Besides the setting, obviously the kills are great. They're very creative. It's not like the practical effects. They're not like a lot of these other films, but they're very creative and unique. You got the people being like scalded with burning hot water as their faces melting. You got death by bees, death by curling iron. Like I don't know how uh, the girl was killed with the curling iron, but it leaves it to your imagination. It's pretty horrifying, I think. So, yeah, the kills are fantastic. The characters are all memorable. They're great. Like there's a lot of like villains that is not the killer. There's just villains in the film that you just people you want to see die. You're hoping that they're gonna get what has coming to them, and they do, and it's great. It's very rewarding. Um, this is the most this is the most disturbing film in the 80s slasher subgenre. There's a lot going on here. There's like pedophilia, there's there's like some weird incest between small children. There's like twisted, like transgender, like forced transgender stuff, as we all know about, like the ending and all that stuff, and like the creepy Aunt Martha. There's there's a lot in this film that is just so twisted, and it just makes you feel kind of icky. By the end of the film, you kind of feel weird. At least I do anyway. And then of course the ending, like this ending is one of the most important, like iconic and memorable endings in film. Like honestly, you talk about like the sleepaway camp ending, and everyone, if anyone who's seen it, they know, like, oh yeah, like that's a messed up ending. It's crazy, and not just horror. Like I think in all of film, like this one is gone down in history a little bit. So yeah, sleepaway camp is great, man. There's not too many like it. Absolutely love it. All right, so yes, that's number seven. Let's move on and take a look at number six. All right, so coming at number six from 1981, we have Friday the 13th, Part 2. So yeah, back to the Friday the 13th franchise again. I think this is the most scary of all the Friday the 13th films. This is yeah, this is the one that scares me the most. Even still, it has a way of, it really creates tension really well. And there's some of the jump scares, they're pretty effective, and I love it for that. Like, as the franchise went on, it got a little more comical and little, it got away from this. Part two, in terms of scariness, I think it is the peak. It's really tense. It's scary, and especially for a kid. It's definitely the most scariest in my opinion. Of course, this is the debut of Jason Voorhees as our killer, and I really like Sackhead Jason. In some ways, he's more frightening than Masked Jason. I love Masked Jason because the look is just, it's iconic at this point. And it's a great look. But Sackhead Jason is more scary, man. There's a couple scenes of him, uh, so some of the camp where the counselors are like hiding out in the cabin. You just kind of see him run through like a window, and you see like this bagged figure running through the woods, like running, and he doesn't run that often in the other films, and it's scary, man. I don't know, something about the look of Sackhead Jason is I really dig. So yeah. Now, like I said, the setting, of course, is great. Like you still have, there's no kids at this summer camp, but they're in training, and the counselors and preparing for it. But it's still the same setting. It's great. You're trapped in the woods. You got the lake. It's really good. And these are Jason's woods, man. Like he knows these woods, so and you feel that. You feel like he's the hunter, and they don't know what they're doing. They're running around. Hiding, trying to get away, and he's one step ahead of them for the most part because he knows exactly, he knows these woods. It's great, and you really feel that with this setting. Characters are great, of course. There's some really good characters in this film. Really good nudity, of course. But the kills are the standouts, and they're edited. It's too bad. Like we got like the ratings board or censors. They chop this film up, but even with that, they're still really good. They're still really fun. If like you get like the highlights, like there's like the double impalement, which is fantastic. Absolutely love that. And then of course the guy in the wheelchair, which is so mean spirited, but what a kill, man! Like, just like you get like the machete in the head, which is great. But then like him going down the steps, like for them to film that and the way they had to rig it up, the wheelchair, it's so good. Um, so yeah, the kills are fantastic. And they're honestly in the whole 80s slasher genre, those some of those kills are some of the most iconic and most famous. That says something. Like these kills are incredible. And Ginny, our final girl, I think she's probably the strongest, in terms of everything, like in terms of like her acting and just her screen presence. And then the fight at the end is really good, both physical fight, but then also like the psychological aspect she adds to it, like messing with his head with his mother and whatnot. Unique ending, like we didn't get that a whole lot, and it's really good. She's really smart. So yeah, I love the ending to this film. So yeah, Friday the 13th Part 2. classic. Just a classic slasher that's actually scary. So yeah, absolutely love it. All right, let's move on and take a look at number five. Okay, so coming at number five, also from 1981, we have The Prowler. So, yeah, this is the second Tom Savini appearance in this top 10. And yeah, obviously, my love of The Prowler mostly is based about the kills. And in my opinion, this is the film that has the best kills of any 80s slasher. Um, I said it earlier. The kills in Intruder are really good. They're up there. I really like the kills in Intruder, but the Prowler, I don't think there's any film that tops it. In my opinion, like these kills are just the best of the best. I think every single kill in this film, there might be one that's like the weakest kill, but every single kill in this film would be the highlight in every other 80s slasher. It just they're all that good and that strong. Um, they're just they're so brutal and they're vicious. They're long. Like I keep thinking of like the throat slit in the swimming pool. Man, that just goes on for so long. There's so many little elements of like the knife rocking back and forth, up and down. You see the wound opening, the blood, like the underwater shots of like the pink mist floating out from her, shooting out from her throat wound. It's just there's so much going on. It's so good. Um, but yeah, besides the kills, like this is a good setting. Like it's got like kind of like the school setting. There's some stuff in the dormitory. There's some stuff in like some campus buildings and whatnot around town. It's a good classic 80s slasher type of setting, which I just really like it. Of course, you got the nudity thrown in, and some of them it's thrown in with like the kills, and I always like that. It's kind of it's a little sleazy, you know. Some of these kills, like there's like a shower kill that's pretty sleazy, and it's fantastic. I love the backstory here, how it's kind of the plot plays in with like World War II times, and I like how I like how at the beginning it opens with that, you know, it kind of tells us like the motive of the killer, and it flashes back to like the 40s or like the late 40s there, and it's great, man. I don't know. I'm like I guess it's like a history. I'm a history buff. I'm a student of history, and I just incorporate a little bit of that in there, and I like it. I mean, I like how it plays out. It works into the plot. The story works really well for me, anyway. Um, yeah, like by the time you get to the ending, like the reveal, like upon first watch, it's good. It's a good, shocking little reveal. It works really well. Yeah, I don't know. Everything about the Prowler, it just screams like classic slasher. Like the title, the cover art, like I said, the setting, the kills, the nudity, the little sleaziness, the reveal, the story, it all works. It's great. So yeah, like I said, when you couple that with what I consider to be like the best kills within the genre, throw in a little bit of sleaze, it's just this movie's for me, man. It's great. I absolutely love it. So yeah, coming at number five, The Prowler. All right, let's move on and take a look at number four. All right, so coming at number four from 1984, we have Friday the 13th, Part 4, the final chapter. So this is Tom Savini entry number three, and in many ways, this is the perfect Friday the 13th film, in my opinion. I think this is like the culmination of all aspects of the three films that came before it. This is like the bigger budget. You get the better acting, the better director. The kill effects are really good. Like, some of the best in the genre. The script is better. This is just the peak of the franchise for me. It didn't get any better than this. It was all kind of downhill from this point. But this just has a look and a feel. I don't know, it's just classic Friday the 13th. I just absolutely love it. I love everything about this film, like everything I love. Like I like the the lake house setting. Again, it's wooded, it's by the lake. So it fits with the other things, but it's unique. It has like it's like a nice house, and there's like all like the uh, it's just like it's a cool house. I just really like the setting. Um, Ted White, who plays Jason in this film, is probably my favorite Jason. Him and Richard Brooker are my two favorites. I think Ted White edges him out a little bit just because he's so aggressive. We've never seen Jason so aggressive, like attacking, like little kids. He's just reaching for little kids, trying to kill them. Just the way he moves, every movement is like not wasted. It's just he's super aggressive, and you could feel the cast, the actors were terrified of him. Um, that was intentional because, like, you read behind the scenes and stuff, and he like isolated himself from everybody. The only time they saw him was when he showed up to film as Jason, and they were terrified of him. And it comes off. It comes off really good. So yeah, great Jason. Yeah, like I said, Corey Feldman, Crispin Glover are just they make this movie for me. Like they're just really good characters. They do a really good job. It just again it just adds that I don't know, like the bigger budget just feels like a bigger, well-made horror film, but it's still a Friday the 13th film. It's a weird mix of, these bigger budget classic horrors, but still within the franchise. I don't know, I love it. The kills, of course, are fantastic. Some really, really good kills. Like obviously the one of the first kills with like the I think his name's Axel in the hospital with like the hacksaw. That's so good. Crispin Glover with the corkscrew and the axe axe to the head. There's just so many good kills. Like the chicken thrown at the window, landing on the car, so good. They're great. The kills are so fantastic. Um, of course, you get the nudity. There's lots of nudity in this film, which is, again, it's kind of like a box that needs to be checked off. Um, the final fight is really good. You get like Trish and Corey Feldman's character, Tommy Jarvis, obviously, and it's just there's a lot of layers to that final fight. Like there's a lot going on, and Trish is a really good final girl as well. She's puts up a really good fight too, really good fight, and yeah, and then like the whole story, like just the story works. Like, there's nothing elaborate with this story. It's just part of the continuing franchise, the continuing adventures of Jason. But it's great, and then it ends with the death of Jason. We all know how it plays out, but at the time, it was the death of Jason, and it was crazy. Like it was one of like that kill scene was crazy good. That effect was just unbelievable. Um, yeah, really, really good. I don't know. This film just has it all. It's just like I said, the look and feel of part four is just it's got like a gloss to it, but I like it. It just works really well, and they never really duplicated this in my opinion. It's just I think I don't know. I could just go on and on about this movie, but it's the perfect slasher. It really is, and it's super nostalgic for me. It's one of the earlier ones I've watched, but it really is like the stereotypical um, 80s slasher. It has everything you want and expect from these films, and it delivers it and knocks it out of the park for all these elements. So it's absolutely great. So yeah, Conan number four, Friday the 13th, part four, the final chapter. All right, let's move on. Take a look at number three. All right, so coming at number three from 1982, we have Slumber Party Massacre. Now, this is basically the Roger Corman 80s slasher. And, if you're familiar with Roger Corman, you know, what he, what his films always included, for the most part, this film is exactly what it should be. There's you got blood, and you got boobs, and you got butts. That's basically what this, blood, boobs, and butts. That's Roger Corman. It sums it up for you. But it's mixed in with a in the 80s slasher genre. There's honestly there's nothing else quite like Slumber Party Massacre. it's very distinctive and unique for me, just the feel and look of it. It's probably because it's weird because it was written and directed by women, but then they were basically told they had to input this all this nudity, this um, gawking at naked women, so that they put it in. They did what they needed to do with their production, Roger Corman, but then at the same time, in like kind of in like juxtaposition of that, all the women are like super strong, independent female characters, and it's a good balance. It's really weird because you see them at the beginning and they're like taking their clothes off and they're doing all that stuff, but then by the end of the film, they're they're messing up a crazy serial killer. It's really good. It's a unique mix. Um, but yeah, I don't know. It works really well for me. You know, also what's kind of different and unique about this film is that there's no real mystery. Like in terms of the story, it just starts. There's no twist. There's no plot reveal. There's no like mask that the killer is just like this is the killer's name. He's loose. He escaped from jail and he's on the hunt and he just wants to kill people. It's straight up like stalk and slash, and it's just pure gratuitous violence and nudity, like nonstop from beginning to end. And that's like the purpose of it. It's just like we're not trying to trick you. We're not trying to have elaborate. Like we just want to show you, people getting killed and people taking their clothes off, and that's basically what it is. But like I said, the formula just works really well, and there's a lot of nudity in this film. Like before like the credits are done rolling, you see the main actress, you see her taking her clothes off, and then there's like a shower scene, and it's just, if anyone who's seen it, like it's almost obscene, this the shower scene. Like, it's like a group shower, all these women basketball players after basketball practice. It's so filled with gratuitous nudity, but it's great. It's like these 80s movies, man. This is what they did back then, and it's great. Russ Thorn is the killer, and he's fantastic. He's creepy looking, just the way he moves and walks. He doesn't talk. He's a fantastic killer. Absolutely love Russ Thorn. His weapon of choice, power drill, is so vicious and like just loud, and it's yeah, great weapon. Again, very unique. Absolutely love it. The final fight between him and a couple of the girls it's great. Like I said, it's like the women are really taking control, and they're not gonna be like they've had enough, and they gang together at the end, and they take out this killer, and it's great. And they get beat up, they get damaged, but they prevail at the end. It's great. It's a good final fight. Uh so yeah, I don't know. Slumber Party Massacre. It just has this over the top feel that it's just pure like viewing entertainment. It's great, man. It's just you throw in like the awesome title and the awesome cover art. It's just the whole package is just classic 80s slasher to me, and I absolutely love it. It's super nostalgic. This is one of the titles I always saw on the VHS shelves growing up. Just that box art, the title, everything about it is just classic 80s slasher. I just love it. It's fantastic. So yeah, that's number three. Slumber Party Massacre. All right, let's move on. Take a look at number two. All right, so kind of number two from 1981, we have My Bloody Valentine. Now, we've had a few Canadian films, obviously that made these rankings, a couple in like the 20 through 11 range, but this, in my opinion, is the best example of an early Canadian slasher film. And because of that, honestly, it's really personal for me. This movie was made in Nova Scotia, and I lived in Nova Scotia. I didn't grow up in Nova Scotia. I went there when I was a teenager. But it doesn't matter. This East Coast, the maritime provinces of Canada, they have a distinct feel and a flavor to growing up, and this film just hit home for me. Um, all the characters, all these young adult characters, they remind me of people I knew growing up. It just the way they drove their cars, the way they drank, just the way they talked, everything. what they did on the weekends. Um, this film's really familiar for me, so maybe I'm a little biased, but I absolutely love the look and feel of this film. But putting all that aside, honestly, the star of this show is the setting. Um, and you know, first part of the setting is, like I said, the small town Nova Scotia mining. Like the mining town feel. It's captured so well. It just feels like, they got the main one road coming into town. You get the big sign. You enter the town. You got the laundromat. You got the bingo hall. You got like I said, the mine, the few houses. It's just I don't know. It feels really good to me. I love that setting. It feels really homey. But then, of course, when you get to the stuff down in the mines, that's that's one of the best settings in the whole genre. It's man, I don't know if you've ever been in a mine. I've been down in a mine in Nova Scotia, actually. Not this mine, but I've been in a Nova Scotia mine, and it's scary as hell down there, man. You're like miles under the ground, pitch black if it wasn't for like the lamps that's illuminating your path. Um, it's freaky, man. So to set a slasher down there when, it's like I said, it's scary enough just going for a tour, let alone a killer on the loose, trying to kill you, trying to trap you down there. Terrifying, absolutely terrifying setting. And it works really well because they utilize it so good. The killer walking around, scraping his pickaxe against like the wall, like smashing the overhead lights, like making it like darker and darker. It's great. Like there's nowhere to run. There's nowhere to hide. Like the women that are down in there, they don't know what they're doing. They're with their boyfriends, so they're completely lost and terrified down there. Yeah, it's fantastic. And then of course the killer, like Harry Warden. If you've seen the plot film, we'll just call him Harry Warden. He's a great killer, fantastic. Just the look of him with like the miner's mask and the whole outfit, like I said, walking around with that pickaxe. And the pickaxe is a great weapon, fantastic. Yeah, and then you got the breathing, kind of almost like the Darth Vader breathing going on. That's really adds to like the atmosphere. Yeah, fantastic, fantastic killer. And then the kills themselves are amazing. And this is another one that got kind of cut up by the censors. The newer releases, the kills are put back in, so you get to see them in all their glory, and they're great. Like the kills are really good, really gory, pretty mean spirited at times. Yeah, really good kills. But honestly, one of the best things about this film for me is the story. I just love, again, the backstory of why Harry Warden became who he became, and the whole, is it Harry Warden? Is it someone else? What's going on? Isn't he in jail? Isn't he dead? What, like as the film plays out and the conclusion comes, the story just fits perfectly. And upon first watch, you probably won't guess who it is. They do a really good job of concealing the killer. And then once the reveal happens, you're like, ah. And then you think back and you're like, yeah, you know what? Like it makes sense. Like this person was not where they were supposed to be, or they were missing at this scene. And you just, the way that they concealed the reveal was just one of the best I think ever done in the genre. Sometimes these writers, they cheat and they get lazy, and you're like, yeah, you're reaching at trying to make this plot work. My Bloody Valentine hit it out of the park, in my opinion. It's just really good story. It just works really well. So yeah, I absolutely love this story. So yeah, My Bloody Valentine, like I said, perfect slasher in my opinion. Everything works. It's scary. It's a lot of fun. Some really good kills. Uh, it's just there's nothing not to like. I just absolutely love this. And for someone who grew up on the east coast of Canada, it really hits home for me. So yeah, absolutely love My Bloody Valentine. All right, let's move on. Take a look at number one. All right, so yeah, coming in number one from 1980, we have Friday the 13th. Now, if anyone who's been following this channel for a while, this is probably not a big surprise, but this was this will always be my number one. This was my first 80s slasher that I saw. My earliest memories of watching these films. This was my earliest memory. So obviously nostalgia plays a part, but I truly believe it is the best one as well. I think this is just, it's the first and greatest. And technically it's not the first ever 80s slasher. I think that goes to All a Good Night, who was released early 1980. This was in May of 1980, but regardless, this is the first 80s slasher that made an impact. And yeah, because of that, it's really important. If you're counting, this is Tom Savini, number four on this top 10 list. So, um, but yeah, like this is the film that started the whole genre, like the subgenre with its formula. Like everyone, it was so successful, and for good reason. It's really effective horror film. Again, this is another one that, in my opinion, it has it all. It has that summer camp um, setting, which is just, and this one is really good. It feels really isolated and really small. It doesn't feel like Sleepaway Camp feels like a bigger campus, bigger, camp setting. This is feels deeper in the woods, more isolated, um, harder to get away. I really like this setting. The kills, of course, like I said, Tom Savini kills. They're great. Some of the some really good kills. The arrow through the neck. The throat slit, and like the Annie character of Annie get the throat slit. One of the best throat slits. Um, yeah, the kills are just top notch. They're really good. Again, the backstory, the plot, which is the most important part of this film, because it's if it wasn't for that story and the characters and the backstory, we wouldn't have gotten the franchise. Like it's just it works so well. Uh, it's yeah, the whole movie is based on that plot making sense, which it yeah, it makes sense perfectly. It's great. Of course, there's the likable characters. They're all fun. They're all really good characters. You're kind of sad to see some of them be killed. But then, of course, we have Mrs. Voorhees, and she's one of the main reasons why I love this film so much. In my opinion, she's like the most underrated killer in in the whole genre. Everyone talks about Jason in Friday the 13th, and people get mad in part 5 because Jason's not in part 5 and it's Roy. But this film doesn't have Jason as the killer, and in many ways, I've always said it. I think Mrs. Voorhees is much scarier than Jason, because the whole, you see Jason coming in the mask, you're gonna haul ass, you're gonna take off. She's gonna cozy right up to you with her big old grandma smile and talk to you before she sticks the knife in your throat. You can't get away. And then if you ever have a conversation with her, oh my goodness, she's still to this day, Betsy Palmer's performance as Mrs. Voorhees, it still makes the hair on my arm stand up. It's so creepy when she makes that change from like the nice, oh, I'm Mrs. Voorhees, blah blah blah, and then she starts talking like Jason's talking to her, kind of like a split personality, and she's having a conversation with her son in her head. It's oh man, it's something about that is really off-putting for me, really scary. Yeah, and then when you get to that final fight with her and Alice, who's a really good final girl. Yeah, Alice is a fantastic final girl, but that fight between them is brutal. Like slamming each other's heads in the sand, and like you can tell they're really fighting, and it's great. Like the way that they just went balls out to film that scene. Uh, and then of course the infamous decapitation at the end is super well like filmed. It's just yeah, I don't know, like the it's just great. Like what a fantastic ending. And then of course you get that at the end, you get the final jump scare, which nowadays is almost mandatory in these sorts of films, but it all started here. It's just one little jab before you left the theater to get you talking, to your friends. Like, oh man, they got me at the end. I thought it was over. I relaxed. It's just everything about this film is just it works so well, and it was the blueprint for the entire genre. And it's honestly, it's it to me at least, it's the epitome of what an '80s slasher should feel like. And it's just, I don't know, it's classic, it's comforting to me. It just works. Everything about it works. I have no problems with this film. Um, yeah, and like I said, nothing is probably ever going to top this for me. It's I don't know. I think it's the best one there is. But again, highly subjective, my opinion. But that's it, guys. That's my top 80 slashers of the 80s. So hope you guys like that. It was kind of fun to do it. Like I said, if I did this again next year, it'll probably be different. You know, Friday the 13th probably still be number one, but who knows what will be number 4, 2, 3, 38, 52. You know, who knows? They'll probably be different. But yeah, it was fun doing it. So thanks for all you guys that's been watching this series. I know you guys, a lot of people have been leaving comments, and yeah, I really appreciate it. So I'm glad at least some of you guys enjoyed this. All right, this is long. This video is pretty long, so I'll wrap it up. So yeah, once again, thanks everybody, and until next time. All right, see ya.